The milestone gets hit in a game that otherwise is pretty unmemorable, but the Avs do win. Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche post-game show presented by Bet365. We got AJ calling in, joining me, Rudo, for the Avs win over the Chicago Blackhawks 3-0 tonight. I mean, I do think there's a decent amount of stuff to talk about, but pretty forgettable game, AJ.
Yeah, I mean, it outside of Scott Wedgwood, I mean, it kind of felt like after watching Peter Mrazek shut down the Avs earlier this year,
Yeah.
it's sort of kismet to be like, wow, how do you like it? Get a backup that goalies you? Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? Yeah, it sucks. So,
I mean,
I
take it.
I liked that part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But this is, the system continues to work, right? Like you see, they get good goaltending. Their skaters struggle a little bit. Their goaltender struggles. Their skaters
Pick 'em
drop
up.
7 goals on Toronto. So nice. But it was if you ask me at the end of this year, what am I going to remember about this season? Outside of maybe one or two saves from Scott Wedgwood, nothing else from this night will be on that list.
I mean, you'll remember Nathan
Nothing.
MacKinnon getting his 1,000th point, I hope.
Nothing. He had to do it twice.
He did have to do it twice. It's true. It was close. Me and E were wondering in studio, like, that might have been a double tip. Nate just might have got a piece of that on the way into Lecky, and then he did it a third time anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how funny would it be? 2:00 this morning, the NHL takes that point away.
Could wake up tomorrow at 9:99 again. Yeah, that would be
Yeah, that would have been cold-blooded.
Amusing to say the least. Look, obviously at the end of the day, the Avs beat Chicago, and that's all you really care about. I don't think it was a particularly interesting game. I don't think you love the way the Avs play. I don't think you hate it either, for the record. I wouldn't say it felt businesslike, but I just don't know that there's a lot you can take out of a game like this, where for the vast majority of it, it felt like Chicago was ready to be on the golf course and not playing hockey.
I don't know that I agree. I thought it was pretty spirited from Chicago.
If you say
I
so.
really like the defensive effort that they put into it. I mean, for a game that was 0-0 going into the third period, a lot happened. It was a pretty interesting 0-0 game. Even though I understand the second period was pretty low event, but the events that happened were at least interesting. I thought Chicago, I liked a lot of their young guys. I thought they felt like they played a pretty committed game, and I appreciated that out of them. I thought it was funny when Foligno got stoned on that on that great save by Wedgwood, where I was like, yeah,
well,
wily vet right there. Teach him how not to do it, big guy.
That save actually mattered too, unlike the other great save he made, which would have been goalie interference for sure. But
oh my god! Well, and what blows my mind, if we're so confident that was goaltender interference, and it was, that's just not a penalty,
right? They called it on Miles Wood,
just flat out. How's it not a penalty? And I know Altitude was like, oh, he's pretty far out of the crease. I don't know if that's interference. That's interference, guys. Give me a break.
That's not goalie interference. I don't know what is anymore, but I may have never known. So
yeah,
who's to say?
That's definitely real.
Yeah. All right. I guess you're giving Chicago more credit than I am. That just felt like a team that
Yeah.
genuinely did not know how to generate offense for the vast majority of this game. Um, Obviously, they had one or two chances in the second period, but Wedgie played great. It's a hockey game. It's one that felt a little bit weird. I guess I would ask you this, AJ, to start things off. You look at that first period, you feel like the Avs come out pretty good. They get that goal that gets taken off the board because Natchez is a millimeter offside. Can you live with the way this game was played? Obviously, they won. I'm not trying to be too negative here. I'm just curious if you look at, hey, that goal didn't count, and then maybe the Avs struggled to really pour the pressure on on Chicago after that.
I I do just want to point out, like, I know what you're getting at here.
Yeah,
This was the trappiest trap game to ever trap.
I know. I know.
The letdown after all the acquisitions and all the hype and the hockey night in Canada and all the everything that happened against Toronto on Saturday. They're going into Minnesota tomorrow in a game that is going to be big in the race for the third seed in the Central Division. Like, this was like the mother of all trap games, man.
Yeah.
And they tried to win it in the first period, and then after that, they were kind of like, "Mrrr." It was
Yeah,
just
I
not
know.
super interesting from that point. Um,
Okay.
I'm I don't love it, dude. Like, of course you don't love it, but I'm not gonna sit here and pick apart a win.
Look,
They
I
went 6-0 on the
yep.
homestand, brother. Like, I'm giving them that credit. And hockey games in the NHL, they're so hard to win. So many things can go wrong. One bad shift, one this, one that, like any of those things could go against you, and just in the blink of an eye. And they answered the bell often enough tonight and then got the dub.
Absolutely willing to overlook talking about the specifics of this game beyond tonight. 100%.
Yeah.
It's a weird Chicago game at the end of a homestand. You won it. I don't care.
Yeah.
You just
You
went
don't
6-0.
love you don't love that they played down
Of course.
again, but there were some things from your remade lineup that I think you should feel pretty good about coming out of this one.
And
So that's the stuff I assume we'll get into and enjoy.
well, I want to start here. The Avs switched up a significant portion of your lineup as expected. You kind of think some of these guys are getting a day off so they can be fresh for Minnesota tomorrow. But you
Yeah.
look at it ends up being Erik Johnson, Miles Wood, and Jimmy Vesey, the three main guys drawing into the lineup as your skaters. I talked with E in the pregame. Hey, guys are auditioning for jobs here. There is competition for spots in this lineup now with all of the guys that the Avs have added. Did anyone earn a job tonight? Did anyone lose a job tonight? How does that lineup look? Did anyone help themselves? Let me ask it to you that way.
Yeah, Wedgwood, man.
Okay. Don't people
Of
are going
the
to
skaters
believe
that you're
you.
Yeah. Of the skaters that you're actually asking asking about right now. I don't think so. There were some things that I liked from Jimmy VC. Miles Wood had a really tough night.
Yep.
And Erik Johnson, I think what Erik Johnson did more than anything else tonight was provide a little bit of hope that maybe not hope, but some assurance that you have a
A
Keaton Middleton
functional.
buffer.
Yeah.
That it's not just, all right, Sam Malinsky's really going through it. He's really struggling. We need to bring Middleton in and just kind of see what's going on here, right? Like, there's another option here in
Yeah.
Erik Johnson. And EJ was fine, man. I didn't think he was great, but I thought he was like solid. I completely understand where Bednar's coming from in rotating the lineup this way. Let's keep guys fresh. It just, to me, it hurt that Sam Malinsky plays arguably his best game as an Av and then
Yeah.
is scratched the next game. Like, that's, to me, that's so, like, from coming from an NHL coach that does the classic coach thing of like, oh, got to shut out last game, so got to stick with the lineup, right? Like, Is that going to be the case tomorrow? Are they gonna roll out the same lineup because they got a shutout tonight? Like
Please no.
I don't know how you sit Logan O'Connor for Miles
Right.
Wood ever again.
Agreed.
Like unless your playoff spot is like locked in and you're into the last week of the season, like give me a break with that, dude. So that I don't know about a job, but I think Eric Johnson at least provides you some assurance that your floor is maybe a little higher than you hoped a week ago on your defense specifically. So that I think that's nice. I thought EJ was solid. He was fine, inoffensive.
Yep. Didn't win a
Loved
job,
his
but
grit, man.
yeah.
There was a little bit more of a, hey, you're in the paint, and I'm gonna make you pay a price for that.
Push somebody over. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which a perfect segue into the next thing I want to talk about, which some of the moves that the Avs made at the deadline or just before. Look, obviously, game the other night, maybe the best middle six game of the season for the Avs. Okay, awesome. Tonight, you go pointless from your middle six. I really didn't mind Charlie Coyle. I think he did a lot of good things tonight. Brock Nelson, on the other hand, pretty rough around the edges.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie Coyle should have had a empty net goal.
Yeah.
Brock Nelson should have had an empty net goal.
Kivvy's the one that puts it in, yeah.
God, was that ever a gong show, dude? Watching them try to put that empty net goal in at the end, it was like, what kind of joke is this? Just because it's that kind of year, Kivy gets it. So,
Yep.
yeah, see. But, yeah, I would agree with you, man. Brock Nelson just didn't. Defensively, he still is really fighting it. He's feeling it out. Offensively, was not very good with the puck. His puck management wasn't very good. A lot of pucks just kind of
floated away from him. Yeah.
Yeah, if they were eggs, man, they would have broken. So was not the guy that we're going to see more often than not. This is one of those not great nights, but I did really like, again. I like that one moment where I don't even remember
murks
who
a
the
guy in front of the
defenseman
net.
was.
Yeah.
Just right at the end of the play where he tried to run into him and Brock Nelson just stood there and looked down at him. Oh, it was the kid. It was Levshinov. Yeah, that's right. And he just stood there and looked down at him and was like, "Welcome to the NHL." And he was like, "I don't speak English, man. I don't know what you're trying to say to me." And it was to me, that was hysterical. But in terms of the things you actually acquired him to do, that tonight was not it. Charlie Coyle looked a lot more comfortable. Didn't really notice him a ton.
Yeah.
In the Toronto game, but I noticed him a lot more tonight. I really liked him. I thought he did a solid job taking care of his own end. Good stuff. That Drouin Nelson Nichushkin combination it's gotta kind of lock in defensively a little bit, because it wasn't very good defensively against Toronto. It wasn't very good defensively tonight. You need to start to see him. I know, obviously, people are going to be like, "Hey, Jay, it's 2 games. You got to give him a chance." But yeah, well, when you get guys at the deadline, they only have 19 games.
2 games is
to go
10% of what's left of the season. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they don't have very much time to go through this. But I do think that there were some really good things from Charlie Coyle, and me being the person that's always looking towards next year, feeling good about Charlie Coyle probably being a part of this, because he looks solid.
Yep, I agree. You can see the fit on that third line role that he was talking about when the Avs went out and got him. So makes a lot of sense that way. There are some other guys I want to get into. I also wanted to ask you about this, as we've seen this across these last 2 games now. I talked about it in my review the other night a little bit too. It feels like the Avs are playing with a little bit more emotion. You talked about that Brock Nelson smoking a guy. You talk about the Avs willing to mix it up a little bit more after whistles. You've seen that in these last 2 games. Is this just the Avs matching what their front office has done for them? The front office said, "Hey, we're all in for you," so the Avs are now all in emotionally on the ice?
They have to be. They saw what that is. They saw what what the returns were, and obviously the players are like, I don't give a shit about a first round pick. None of this matters to me. But they're smart enough to know
Yeah.
that those are tip top assets that a team doesn't get to trade more than one time. Like they're smart enough to know that the situation facing them is, I don't want to say dire, but there's a sense of urgency there.
Sure.
And so, okay, this was a symbiotic relationship. Uh, hey, we need you guys to give us goaltenders to feel like we can do something. Boom. Overhauled goaltending. Did something no team in NHL history had ever done before in switching up both goaltenders before Christmas.
Yep.
So,
Aggressive.
like, okay, great. C-Mac looks at him, says, I gave you guys the goalies.
Yep.
Now you need to go and do it. All right. Now there were some struggles there, and then it was like, can you give us a little bit more help here? Our center depth is still a little iffy here. Got the centers. What more could you really ask from C-Mac at this point? He, cost aside, in terms of just raw additions to the lineup, they did it. And now it's on those guys to buck up and go do the job. So
Yeah.
there has to be a sense of urgency. We saw it against Toronto. Didn't see it so much tonight. We'll see. We'll see moving forward. But yeah, that faith has to be a two-way street.
Yeah. All right. We do got to pay a few bills here before we move on. So we are, of course, presented by the Colorado Lottery. So go get with them if you haven't had the opportunity. Get your hands on the limited edition $5 Denver Nuggets scratch game. The top prize is $50,000, so that'd be a nice little couple of bucks in your pocket. But they also have 25 prizes of $5,280, deepening the brand connection with the Nuggets and Mile High Basketball. Jump in with it. Go win yourself some money. It's always fun with the Colorado Lottery. It's especially perfect if you're a Nuggets fan or just a fan of scratchers. You get your chance to win a bunch of money. They're available now through the Colorado Lottery. So make sure you're jumping in with the Colorado Lottery. Scratch the surface and win yourself some money with CO Lottery today. And once you win yourself a little bit of cash, make sure you're getting yourself some good, delicious food with Raising Cane's. Jump in with Raising Cane's today. I mean, you've heard me just go crazy for their sauce. The sauce is ridiculously good. But you can get your craveable box combo dreams coming true at Raising Cane's, where their chicken fingers are all hand battered and cooked to order just for you. You can get their crinkle cut fries, you can get their coleslaw, their Texas toast, all of it together in one delicious meal. Highly recommend. If you've never been, you got to go. Just for the sauce alone, you got to go. Go get the full box combo so you can get every piece of it, and make sure you're heading over to your local Raising Cane's today. Jump in, make your craveable dreams a reality with Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. As we have our 3 stars of the game here, these are the guys that I want to talk. I don't even want to know why you're making that face. Star number 3 is Erik Johnson. Straight for the vibes. No other reason than just vibes of Erik Johnson being back in the lineup. Who's the first guy off the bench to come celebrate Nathan MacKinnon's 1,000 points? It's Erik Johnson. He's the guy smacking Nathan MacKinnon on the head. Huh?
Which time?
Both times. He's the first guy off the bench both times.
Perfect. Vibes
Easy.
Commander in full effect.
He knows the job he's here to do. And there's something to be said about that, AJ. EJ coming back to Colorado, it was a match because EJ knows. EJ understands his role. He's not a guy coming in here expecting to play big minutes, expecting to do a whole lot of stuff as far as on the ice for Colorado. He's just happy to be here and be in the role that he's given.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sneaky good ad, right? Because I didn't like it for any of the hockey reasons, but I love it for the emotional component of it, and sick. I'm all about this.
Same. It's
he's gonna be the vibes commander, but he's also if he's gonna play like he did tonight, we're cozy. It's fine.
Exactly. Do we have EJ? Cool. Let's hear what EJ had to say after the game.
5-on-3 in the second, and it's just not satisfied. I can be better, and but man, it was so fun to win in my first game back at home in front of all the fans. It was awesome.
EJ, every time your face was shown on the big screen, the Jumbotron, for lack of a better phrase, the place goes crazy. I mean, everyone's chanting, everyone's cheering. What does that mean to you? I mean, do you get that energy? Do you get the vibe from the crowd?
Yeah, I mean, the feeling's mutual. I love Avs fans. I love living in Denver. I love the Avalanche. I love this team, and it's the feeling's mutual. I've been treated with so much respect here, and I love playing here. And to be back is very, very special to me, and super grateful for another opportunity. And anytime I put on this jersey, I'm grateful, and I don't take it for granted. And to hear them be excited for me to come back means the world to me. Sorry.
I'm sure you already talked about this, but just how cool to be here, have your first game back with the Avs be the game that Nate hits 1,000.
Yeah, I was here for his first point in October 2013, and I remember his first point pretty vividly. And then fast forward, whatever it's been, 12 years, and I'm here for his 1,000th. Didn't know if I would be, so really special. He's been a big boost to my career. Definitely helped me along the way, and even though I'm older than him. He's a great leader and has pushed me to be a better player. So to be there for his 1,000th is super cool. And then to get a win and my first game back means a lot. And the guys played great. Wedgie was unbelievable. And it wasn't our best game, but we found a way to win.
Last one, Nate mentioned the other night that you had something planned for dinner after the guys, after the game for the guys. Like, was that a full team thing? And have you ever been part of a situation where a trade deadline acquisition's the guy hosting dinner?
Well, I'm kind of a familiar face. I know most of the guys, so they added me into the group chat, and I said, hey, we're going here after the game. Everybody come. Have a spot reserved. So we just had some food, some drinks, and just kind of I got to know some new guys, see some familiar faces, and we weren't out super late, but we were having a good time, and I think that's important. I mean, it's a long schedule and a long year, and you really come together in moments like that. So I just thought it'd be a good idea, and thankfully people showed up, and I wasn't sitting by myself. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Papa Condor taking everybody to dinner. That's how you do it right there. That's how you do it right there. On the ice, though, our second star. Look, if it wasn't for a milestone, he's probably getting the number one star. Wedgie with the shutout tonight. Multiple fantastic saves. Earned it all the way through. Even in a low event game, even in a game where it's not like he made a million save, he made multiple grade A's. And that's, we've talked so much about trusting your starting goaltender this year. How about trusting your backup a little bit? That you can throw him in a game like this and no, Avs played what? Their B minus game tonight, and they still won because Wedgwood didn't give up any.
Yep.
Easy life.
Yeah, I mean, really, like, the only reason he's not first star is just because he was a victim of history in this.
Some dude scored 1,000 points tonight. Only the 100th person ever to score 1,000 points in the NHL. Nathan MacKinnon had to do it twice and then got an extra one. It's been, I consider myself extremely lucky that I've got to watch Nathan MacKinnon's entire career for the team that I rooted for as a fan and the team that I now get to cover. It's truly awesome to know that you are going through history as it happens when it comes to things like this. Nathan MacKinnon will go down as one of the greatest hockey players ever. Yeah. Maybe he's top 25, maybe he's top 50, whatever it is. He is one of the all-time greats.
I mean, we're talking about a Conn Smythe, an Art Ross, and an Olympic gold away from having a conversation of him being one of the 20 greatest skaters in NHL history, right?
Yep, I would say so.
And all three of those things can be accomplished in the next 12 months for him.
Very possible. It's on the table. Put it to you that way. You can see the shirt up. Make sure you guys go get it. Our newest shirt celebrating MacKinnon's 1K total points. ALLCITY Network store. Get over there. Get it. Go get your stuff. There you go. Tiff put the link in the chat for our YouTube watchers. So jump in. But truly, Nathan MacKinnon is, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We always knew he was going to be good. Obviously, in this era of the Avs, we knew he had become great. But it's really only these last couple of years where I think people have realized just how good that is.
It's crazy to see. We did a
You're muted for
watch
me.
party.
Oh, you're back. Okay, we're good. We're good. My bad.
We did a watch party when for his draft, and we did it in Rhino, and a bunch of us from Mile High Hockey back then went down, and he got drafted, and we couldn't get them to turn the music off, so he got drafted to Mr. Jones by the Counting Crows. And from that moment to seeing him win a Stanley Cup to now recording 1,000 points, I mean, when you take a guy in the top 5, the dream is something like this, right?
Yep.
You take a guy first overall, you're trying to get a guy that is going to be the face of your franchise and completely alter the trajectory. You're picking first overall for a reason.
Yep.
It's not because things are going great. So for Nathan MacKinnon to have lived up to that at every single turn is honestly, kudos to him. And you're absolutely right in that trying to appreciate greatness while it's unfolding in front of you is a very hard thing to do.
Yep.
I know it is a thing that you and I harped on a lot in the Cup run year, where we kept trying to hammer it away. Please appreciate this. This is so special.
It might not happen
but
again. Yeah.
Exactly, but just with Nathan MacKinnon's career, please appreciate this. This
100%.
It's incredible, and the reality is we maybe have 5 more years left.
Yep.
If we're really lucky, it's like 7 or 8. If we're really lucky, at an obscenely high level like this, where he is right now is peak powers. It won't be fair.
You might get 2 or
Last
3
year,
more
this
years of this
year-
if things go well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like even getting 2 more years like last year and this year would be so lucky for all of us.
Yeah.
So to get to enjoy that tonight and get to talk about it and appreciate it and remember it, and to have such a great shirt. I mean, honestly, just
It's a sick shirt. I love
bring
it.
this back to capitalism, it's a sick shirt. It's really cool, man. I'm really excited.
Me too.
So hopefully he starts seriously pushing and chasing down Joe Sakic, because that puts him in top 10 skater in NHL history kind of conversation. So
Just think what would have happened if he never told Jared Bednar to do his job. Okay. Mac, not usually a guy of many words, but we did talk to him in the locker room afterward about the milestone. So let's see what Mac had to say.
And all that stuff, but 100th player in NHL history hit 1,000 points. What are you feeling right now?
I mean, not a whole lot. I think it's cool. It's fun to accomplish something with friends and teammates and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's a number. It's a cool milestone for sure, and it's I don't know, something to reflect on, I guess.
You said you're doing it with friends, good teammates. What do you have all of them come off the bench twice?
Yeah. Right when Marty scored, he thought it was offside, so we're just kind of like, I don't know if this is going to count. I actually thought about that before the game, that that's good was going to happen, that they're going to call it back when everyone came on, so it came true. Yeah.
Earlier today, Jay said he was here for your first point. How cool is it for him to be here for your 1,000th point?
Yeah, him and Landy both. I mean, it's been a long time, obviously, 11, 12 years, and it's great to have him back and share that moment with him.
Did you know they were going to come off the bench, or did that surprise you?
I think, the other night they said something about maybe coming out, and I don't know what I wanted, and but yeah, obviously I appreciate it, doing it twice. Yeah.
What could you say about Scott Wedgwood's performance today?
He was great. I mean, he was not a ton of shots, but some huge saves, and just a tough game. The ice was really bad, honestly. It was bouncing everywhere, and just a pond hockey game.
6-0 on the homestand. Just how big is that for this group?
Yeah, it was. It's big. I mean, we came out of the break slow and then won 6 in a row. So, 2 on the road here. We're going to get in pretty late tonight, so we'll have to grind one out and hopefully get another one in Calgary.
Is it one of those things that maybe towards the end of your career, it's easier to reflect back on something like this?
I think so. I mean, yeah, I mean, you want team success. You want everyone to celebrate accomplishments and wins and everything like that. This thing is just for me. But yeah, I mean, it's a long road and ups and downs, and definitely a cool moment though. Yep.
How do you feel like the new guys have been gelling?
Good. Yeah, I mean, it's good. They sometimes these games are tough. We emotional win against Toronto, big comeback win, and then right back at it. We did enough to win, and but yeah, I think we are a little better.
Thanks.
So there he is. Pretty soon will be the all-time leading point getter for the Avs, probably in a couple of games here. But we do got to pay a few bills, so let's jump into that, as I didn't jinx it on Twitter, so maybe I won't jinx it here either. The Avs are as reasonably healthy as they're going to get. And make sure you're staying healthy with UC Health. Go join UC Health. You can check them out at uchealth.org today. Live like there is a tomorrow, obviously. These guys are great. Taking care of yourself is important. We all know that on this podcast very well, as we've had our own journeys with getting healthier. UC Health is there every step of the way, whatever it might be, whether that's mental health, physical health, sleep health, any other type of health you can think of. UC Health is there. So make sure you get with them. Make sure you're checking them out. Again, uchealth.org. Live like there is a tomorrow. And get yourself on the road to health. Once you've taken care of yourself, make sure you're also getting yourself where you need to go in a Toyota. Go check out your local Front Range Toyota dealerships. Tons of different vehicles, something for everyone. Trucks like the Tundra, SUVs like the RAV4. You got sedans like the Corolla, whatever it might be. Toyota has vehicles for you, and in all of those sections, they've got four-wheel drive, 17 different vehicles with that. They've got your hybrids, 16 different versions of those, which is the most of anyone, including even trucks that are hybrid. So go jump in with Toyota, find that vehicle. They're the official vehicle of the DNVR Avalanche, and not just us, they're the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche too. So jump in. Their local vehicles your local sellers where you can find Toyota is AutoNation Toyota, Rapidan Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, the official vehicle of DNVR is Toyota. Let's go places. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, and I do want to drive this home a little bit, not just the milestone, which is great for Nathan MacKinnon. It's very cool that you get to witness history, but he's also our UC Health extraordinary player of the game, because he was also really good tonight. You talked about a team that went through some malaise at times through the second half of the first period, through the second period. The one guy who it felt like was still driving play, still pushing things in the right direction for a significant portion of this game was Nathan MacKinnon. And maybe that's his mind saying, I'm going to get the 1,000 point tonight no matter what happens. But either way, MacKinnon 6 shots on goal tonight. No one else on the Avs even recorded 2. And he continuously pushed them the right way with that top line. AJ, is this a match made permanently? Are we just going to see the MacKinnon-Natchez line forever?
I mean, it's really tough to break them up, right? Honestly, this feels so much like the Mikko Rantanen conversation.
It does.
Blah, but you have better line of balance if you split a ball. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I hear you, but like, look at him. Look at him. And
look at the
this. First goal. The first goal is kind of whatever to me, but that second goal, that's a great read by him.
Yep.
To intercept that pass and to keep it in the zone. And then the play that he makes to Natchez, it's
puts
just
a perfect
great
shot
stuff.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great stuff. They really they really did kind of need him to backpack a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And to be honest, fair enough. He wasn't very good in the Toronto game.
Totally.
He really wasn't, man. And like, I know it's funny I say that. He gets the game-winning goal, but like, you really do have to appreciate. He was awesome. Also, I didn't know this, but there have been roughly 7,500 players in NHL history.
I knew it was somewhere around that number. Yeah.
100 of them have scored 1,000 points in their career.
I'll do you one better.
100 of them.
One better. Only the 14th to do it before his 30th birthday. pretty good.
Yeah, he's not a compiler like Mark Recchi was.
Mac might not play forever, but he's real good. There's zero doubt.
And you see him you watch him in the first period tonight, and you're like, is he the only guy out there?
It felt like it at times.
Like from both teams, like he was dominating in the first period, and then obviously things slow down. But that's how the Avs have. How many games have the Avs won over the last half decade? Because Nathan MacKinnon goes Super Saiyan in one period of a game, and they score multiple goals, and then they just kick it into cruise control. When that doesn't happen, it's hard for them to win games. And then you look at the third period, 0-0 against this trash team. Like, Chicago's terrible, dude. They're really bad. I appreciated their defensive effort tonight. They suck.
Yeah, they're a bad team. They're a bad team.
They suck, dude. And MacKinnon in that top line rolls out, and they're like, all right, well, we haven't scored yet. 0-0. Anything can happen. 3.5 minutes into the period, it's 2-0.
Yep.
All right. Just don't screw this up. Let's go home.
I think part of it that like really boggles my mind is we're at a point in Nathan MacKinnon's career now where, look, obviously the game had a lot of things going on. The Sharks are terrible. Makar had a 6-point historic night. Nathan MacKinnon had a 5-point night in that game. We barely even talked about it because we know 5-6 times a year, Nathan MacKinnon's just good for that, which is ridiculous. Are you kidding me? The Avs went like 7 straight years without a 5-point night from anybody. And now MacKinnon just does it all the time.
30 goal score.
Yeah.
You remember that? Chris Stewart scored 27, and we were like, that counts, right?
Yep.
That counts. It's close enough, man. And then, yeah, now you just look at it, and you're like, all right, well, Nathan MacKinnon's just going to put up a couple of those every year.
It's just a thing that happens. No big deal. It's fine. Might not be 1,000, but chat, you did get us over 100 likes, so thank you very much. I got a winner shot right here for you. Appreciate y'all always hanging out with us, having a good time. Here we go. Dr. Dubs. 6 in a row. That means the beard gets to stay for me for at least one more game. Jared Bednar not growing a beard, but pretty chuffed about where the Avs are at right and now. Let's hear what he had to say post-game.
Just obviously, guys, we're on a back-to-back. We got to get out of here quick, so keep it tight, please. Go ahead.
A half a question each.
How would you sum up the homestand?
Productive. Yeah, I thought it was. We played pretty good hockey. Like there was that one game in there, Pittsburgh, that I didn't love, but I liked the way we responded from that. And like tonight was far from a perfect game, but we stuck with it again and did a nice job suppressing scoring chances when we needed the big save. When we gave something up, it was a pretty good chance. And Wedge was awesome in net again. And I'm liking what I'm seeing from our group. We had a little bit of everything in the game tonight, even though it was pretty sloppy. You know, big 5-on-3 kill. It's one of Coyle's strengths, and he was out there twice on it. And so we're starting to get those new guys integrated a little bit. But it was good growth over the homestand.
Now we've talked a lot about MacKinnon last couple games too, not just his 1,000th career point.
Yeah.
What's a moment like that you be a part of?
Oh, we celebrated it twice. It was so good. Yeah. No, our guy. Well, you can tell the excitement from our guys. You know, like. Yeah, I mean, they all pour out once and then got to do it again. It was good to see him get it tonight, especially after the first one was called off. But I think it's big. Like, I think he'll downplay it, you know, as he always does. But I think, like, when it's all said and done for him, you know, like, he'll remember these milestones and appreciate it more than he does now because he's so focused by the moment. You know, it's not a big deal to him now. But I think when it's all done and he gets a little older and starts looking back on his career and other people look back on his career, they're going to be big moments.
Did you encourage them to go out again?
No, they do it. They did that on their own. Yeah. They were going to celebrate with him one way or another, and it was good to see him get it done and out of the way. Obviously, our team got a little boost from that because we, you know, we answered with a couple goals following that. But it was good to come out and finally put one in, because we had some really good chances too, even though they were a little fewer and farther between. It felt like we had lots of like rush attacks that we didn't quite execute on. Guys were complaining about the ice a little bit tonight and said it was pretty rough, and and our execution was struggling a little bit at times, especially when it came to like the last little bit of it to create real quality scoring chances. So it was good to get the win though and finish the road trip off right, and now we got a quick turnaround going to Mini.
You guys get all these.
Go ahead, Eric.
You guys get all these guys back from injury. You had all these guys at the trade deadline, but 31 goals during the homestand. MacKinnon still has 15 points. Like, you want to spread the wealth, but he still does his thing. Like, how does he do that?
Well, I mean, we know how he does it. I mean, it's the same thing he's been doing for years here. But it's also, he's, over the course of the homestand, I think he's probably done it in less time on ice. The power play's been really good. So that always helps. But if you look at the scoring chances at the end of the night, when you break them down, it just seems like 50% of the scoring chances that we get have a 29, either like primary setup guy or getting it himself, or the secondary setup guy, right? So 8 and 29 tend to show up on that sheet for chances for more than anybody else. So eventually they're going to get rewarded if they keep, producing chances like that.
Go ahead.
You mentioned execution and just kind of missing a couple of times early. Is that as simple? Is that the simple explanation for what changed in the third, or did you feel like anything flipped in terms of tempo or anything like that?
We didn't have the pace to our game with the skating or the puck movement as we did the other day. That's for sure. But I think, just looking at it, I don't think a lot changed in the third. We just capitalized on some chances. The simplicity of the first goal, I loved it, because I felt like we could have done that a little bit more throughout the course of the game. Like 3 of our better chances through the first 2 periods came from point shots and deflections, and there was a rebound opportunity from MacKinnon on the back door. So I wanted to see us do that a little bit more. I think we could have used the low to high and shoot it a little bit more and test them at the net. We seemed to have a little bit of time, and we were trying to feed the puck around a little bit. But I thought Chicago had great sticks. Like, they have some big, long defensemen that are hovering around the net all the time, and they got their sticks on a lot of pucks, whether we had them in the slot or whether we were passing them in the slot, and we just couldn't, we just weren't crisp enough. But they had something to do with it for sure.
Time for a few more. Go ahead, Corey.
The day that Scott Wedgwood got here, I think, in the first interview, he said, "I'm good in the room and I'm gonna battle out there." Like, that's his, like,
yeah.
It felt like tonight was a battle, like he's kicking pucks away.
I thought, he was fantastic. Like, that's 2 really good games from Wedge now, right? Like, so I loved his, his first handful of games. He looked like a seasoned veteran starter, like he was unbeatable. Like, I remember us being in Jersey and whatnot, and he gets all those big wins when we needed him most, trying to dig out of a hole. And then, I would say he played some games that were just so-so for a while, but coming out of the break here, he's been fantastic, and that's what we need. We got a goalie that can win every single night for us, or giving us a chance to win every single night, and it gives you a better opportunity to win on nights like this when you're not perfect with the puck.
Jesse.
Coach, I know Nate was here a few years before you, but his game kind of went to another level after you arrived. You guys have been through a lot. Just seeing him at that milestone, what does it mean for you and your relationship with Nate? What does that mean to you?
Well, I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of him, because you see players grow and change and in so many different ways, and like when you're around them every day, you don't really notice. It's like you have a baby and you're there every day, and it doesn't seem like they're changing much, and then you leave for a week and all of a sudden they're like completely different, right? And it's so. But like year over year, when I look back at like what he's done and the milestones he's hit and the production that's come along with it, his growth on the defensive side of it, in 2022, like he was in the playoffs, I just remember him defensively. He just couldn't create scoring chances against him, and he was still putting up a ton of points. And you know, what mattered most to him was, that's what I love about Nate. You know, that's why he downplays all this, because I think a lot of it deep down, he really doesn't care. He just wants to win, you know, and that's what drives him. And I think that's the way to be, because it's not about him, it's about our team. And so deep down, that's the type of leader he is, and he drives the standard. Like, over the years, he expects more and more from our team, from our coaches, from our management, from everybody involved, because he's given it everything he has. So, and I think that's how you win championships. The more guys you have that sort of have that outlook, the better chance you're going to have to win.
Came on huge tonight, especially on the 5-on-3 with some new players getting reps, to include Eric Johnson. What can you say about how some of those new guys stepped up? Yeah, they were great, you know, and so that's kind of what I was talking about this morning. Like, some of their strengths that we didn't use them to last game because we're still getting them. Like, they got some reps this morning in practice. They were able to sit down with Prater. And I want to keep everybody involved. Like, you've probably noticed over this homestand when we've got the depth, like MacKinnon and Val are seeing a little less PK time because they're playing a lot 5-on-5 and they're both playing power play. So I like Kelly, OC, they've been fantastic on the penalty kill all year. Same thing with Jack and Kivy. But some of the strengths of Brock Nelson, Coyle, etc. EJ now joining the group, some of their strengths are on the penalty kill. So we want to make sure we got all kinds of options, and it really helps to have those centermen. Like, Jack's a really good draw guy on left and right, and now we've got Coyle on the right. So, and one of Coyle's strengths is the 4-on-3 and 5-on-3. Like, he learned from the best in Bergeron in Boston. And Prater recognized, like, on his video and going through his stuff, that he's the guy to use. He would be our best guy in those situations if we could get him out there, and he proved that tonight.
Thanks, sir.
Yep, thank you.
So there you go. Lots of praise coming from Jared Bednar all around the lineup. There was one other guy I wanted to talk about that we didn't get to earlier. I'm just curious your thoughts on Lindgren's game tonight, AJ.
My favorite game of his as an Av. I thought that pairing, there was one shift in particular with, I want to say, about 6 minutes left in the game, where Chicago had puck possession, but nothing got close to the front of the net.
Yep.
And they ended up getting a clean breakout. And I remember going, oh, I need to go back and rewatch that tomorrow, because I think I want to put that in studs and duds. Because that was, in particular, a shift where you're like, okay, I see where this is working. Like, I see the vision come to life here, where just the battling and
same thing you said with EJ, right? There was some snarl in that defensive zone,
yeah, and that grit where they were outworking, and it's not just, oh, hey, I'm good with my stick and I'm disruptive and I can make an outlet pass, and like all those things that some of these guys are, but he puts everything that he has into it. And I mean, he drew a penalty by passing a puck so hard he fell down that the official just assumed he had to have been tripped, man. I mean, it was
the officiating tonight. Even our CHGO brethren were losing them. Like, oh my God, dude, what were we doing?
It was so bad, honestly, where you're just watching it and you're like, come on, dude, this is so bad. What are we doing here?
I can't explain it, man. I've given up. I've given up on it. It is what it is. It's. I think it's not worth not glossing over, I should say. The Avs were in a tough spot 6 games ago. You just lost 2 games. You looked terrible against St. Louis. Certainly, Eric and I were down bad on the pod about it. And you answer that by rattling off 6 in a row. Now your last 10, you're 8-2. All of a sudden, those 2 losses feel like a million years ago. You're a team that, when you combine that with the deadline acquisitions, with the momentum the Avs have built up here, it's hard not to regain faith, trust this team. However you want to put it, have some confidence in the Colorado Avalanche right now. I don't want to say that they're the team. They're finally the team that they're supposed to be, because at the end of the day, for this team, the only thing that matters is April, May, and June. But you sure have to feel pretty good about it today.
Yeah, I think the reality, look, if they win in regulation tomorrow, they find themselves 6 points ahead of Minnesota.
Yep.
But
Conversation
the Wild would have
done.
one game in hand.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, they could just win all their games next week and that's that, Like, it's not anything like that. Like, they will be making it difficult for them. And I think, unfortunately, the reality is that it's unlikely for them to catch Dallas in front of them for home ice.
I think so too. I know I made that tweet. I'd put it at more like 10% personally.
We're on a crash course here to open round 1, game 1 in Dallas. Can Jared Bednar versus Pete DeBoer, round 18. Avs Stars, can they reverse this? Did they do enough? Now there's Mikko Rantanen against the Avs, and there's all this going on, right? But Dallas is great. They're really, really good, dude. But you have to be feeling really good about what this Avs team looks like too.
Let's be honest. With that series, more than likely, I don't think it's unreasonable to feel like the winner of that series is probably the favorite in the West. Sure, you could take Edmonton seriously. I personally, I'm not a believer in Vegas. If Winnipeg gets out of round 1, we can have that conversation, but
Vegas, this is a whole playoff conversation.
It is.
Vegas has some stuff about it that I really like. I think Edmonton's really good, except Stuart Skinner, man.
Yep.
I just don't trust Stuart Skinner.
Yep.
Of all of the teams that we're talking about as contenders out west, let's say Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado, Vegas, and Edmonton. Stuart Skinner is far and away the 5th best goaltender.
It's a fair point.
And Colorado would be 4th just because Mackenzie Blackwood as a postseason goalie is completely unknown.
Yep. It's a fair argument.
But it is, the reality is that the Avs just don't have the runway to catch Dallas. Colorado's won 6 games in a row. They're 8-2 over their last 10 games. They've picked up 0 ground.
Yeah.
Dallas is 8-2.
Also 8-2. I know.
They picked up no ground.
Yep.
So you're not going to catch teams that good. Like, it's just not,
I know.
Those teams are too far away.
And look, I'm on team. I think home ice matters a lot less than most, probably. So it's not something I'm too particularly worried about. But it will be interesting at the end of the year to see where the Avs end up. They might well be chilling in that 3rd seed spot. Maybe you get to rest some guys a little bit, although they have 4 days off at the end of the season, apparently, which is weird. But
yeah, I didn't realize that until today when we were looking at the schedule for the VAR, and it was like, what? The NHL schedule continues for 4 days after the Avalanche season ends?
Weird.
Yeah, okay. Just straight up bizarre.
Is that the NHL scheduler going, oh, we forgot to give these guys their 4-day break, so here you go.
I guess, dude. Yeah, right at the end here. Here you go.
Tiff, do we have the next 10 graphic? Hey, timing. We're timing it in here. Look, is it unlikely they catch Dallas? For sure. But that doesn't mean these aren't important games if you're trying to do it coming up. Obviously, the Minnesota game tomorrow is a big one in its own regard. So you take that as it is. But then you have a couple more games coming up in this week, including at the end of the week on Sunday. Or is it Monday? Yeah, it must be Sunday because it's an afternoon game. Oh, that's fine. We can look at that too. Look, if the Avs go on to beat Dallas this weekend and they're on a good run, they've got a chance. And they need to put together a stretch of schedule like this one right here if they're going to do it. Yeah, the Avs did not play a bunch of tough teams at home here, but you have wins against Calgary, which is a fringe playoff team. You beat Edmonton directly. I don't know what you make of New Jersey, but certainly Minnesota and Toronto are playoff teams. The Avs have some good wins in there, AJ.
Yeah, well, the version of New Jersey that they played still had Jack Hughes. That was
True.
still the good New Jersey, not the one that's, smashed into the wall. And honestly, that one loss in Nashville, they played really well in that game.
They did, yeah.
It's just the loss in St. Louis that felt bad.
Bad, yeah.
It
point.
felt like death, dude. It felt like they're gonna win 4 out of every 7 games until they get to the postseason, where they're gonna be an easy round 1 exit, and you and I are gonna be figuring out what to do in Bay.
If you win every 4 out of 7 games, that works out pretty well in the playoffs, I've heard. So,
yeah. So, they've put themselves in a much better position. You have to feel really good about where they are right now.
100%. We have a few super chats to get to here, and then we will wrap up the show. $10 from Trevor, who says, cheers, Rudo, for always getting the watch-alongs going. All may not know you do this on your own time. I'm Canadian. Not many fans here to watch with. Lol, appreciate you. Love this crew and chat watch-alongs. Yeah, I mean, I've always said that's what the watch-alongs are for, right? Obviously, if you want to come say hi in person, come down to the bar, we'll chill, or come to one of our takeovers. But I know not everybody lives in Colorado. I know there's a lot of Avs fans out there that want to watch, want to be part of a community, and that's all it is. I'm chilling on your couch with you, watching a game, have you over for the game. So it's a fun time. I'm glad y'all appreciate them. $5 from Schick, who says, curious what your thoughts are on Manson's play since he's returned. I mean, I think he's been fine. I don't think there's anything particularly special there. There were some hiccups, certainly, in the game the other night against Toronto, but the Avs ultimately did what they needed to do. To be honest with you, I didn't notice him a ton tonight. I wasn't really looking out for him too much. But look, if your defense is keeping the puck out of the net, if they're not hurting you, the Avs have a lot of firepower. That's kind of enough for me.
16 and a half minutes played at 5v5, was on the ice for 3 shots on goal against, 4 scoring chances, 1 high danger chance.
Pretty good.
Can't ask for anything more than that.
Yep. $5 from Alec, who says MacKinnon is the 16th player. 16. I was too high, I guess. My bad. 16th player ever to hit 1,000 points before turning 30. Not even Sakic is on that list. MacKinnon's peak is. There are guys that are better, but there are not a lot of guys that are better than Nathan MacKinnon at his ultimate peak. If we're lucky enough for him to have a long career, to play into his late 30s, he's going to go down as one of the best ever. That's really where I'm at with it. So I think he's truly that good. I didn't know it at a lot of times in the early parts of his career, but today I know it. So is what it is. AJ, one other thing I wanted to talk about with the Avs systemically here. Penalty kill. Did they get credit tonight for killing that 5-on-3, for doing a lot of good work against Chicago, or is Chicago bad?
I mean, look, we can yuck it up about Chicago being bad, but I think they get a ton of credit.
Okay.
I know that they're bad, and look at the guys on that unit, but it's the NHL. Yeah. It's a minute 53 of 5v3 play, man.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Like, let's be real here, dude. Like, it just was not that. The Avs kill was just straight up good. And, in this game, they played 256 at 5v4, and they allowed 1 scoring chance and 0 shots on goal.
That's like A1. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a joke, dude. Their penalty killing was tip top. And Scott Wedgwood ruled, but they were this close to having a Josh Manson breakaway on the 5v3.
That's true.
Like, at the end of it, like, they just outplayed them. Effort, heart, discipline, stayed in the lanes, like, didn't give away anything easy. Made them work for it, and they just didn't get it done.
How much of this is variance? how much of this is we've seen the Avs play a lot of decent games this year, but the puck wouldn't go in or they didn't get a bounce or whatever it is. As if you want this answer, we are going to head into overtime. So if you're watching on TV, head on over to thednvr.com online where the conversation will continue. How much is a game like tonight, the Avs playing well enough to beat their opponent and things just going their way a little bit more?
A little bit, but even then, I mean, did it really go their way? They score early in the game and it gets
Fair point, yeah.
called back because of an offside that was a quarter of an inch offside.
That the league desperately tried to make count, yeah.
Yeah, like they hit multiple posts. They completely dominated a first period that they walked out of 0-0. Like it took time in this one, and it was the kind of game that we've seen a decent amount of this year where they're tied going into a third period against a team that maybe they shouldn't be tied with. And a decent number of those games they have found ways to lose. And tonight there was some perseverance involved that they did not lose, and that feels like growth to me. And I also feel like, hey, it's a little bit of a different mixture of guys. Charlie Coyle's a battler. Brock Nelson's a guy that's going to go to war for you. Casey Middlestat was a guy that would drift. We all know he had some ghost-like tendencies, and
not a lot of drifters
on any
tonight,
given
for
night.
Sure.
Yeah, on any given night, man, he would just. It was like Luigi's Mansion in Ball Arena. Like it was tough, and part of the mixture that they brought in, the reason that they brought some of these guys in is that they're guys who are going to compete. Lindgren, EJ, Coyle, Nelson are all guys that are going to work.
Yep.
They're going to battle. They're not going to have really quiet games. They're going to have games where even when they aren't playing their A game, and certainly Nelson was not on his A game, but he's still going to work.
Yep.
And that's encouraging to me. I think that's great.
You can always fall back on the hard work. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, AJ?
Yeah. Didn't get to talk much about him, but Martin Necas rules, dude. He's a ton of fun.
Yep. Absolute blast. One of the Avs' best possession players tonight. And it's interesting because you talk about those hard workers. You wonder, well, Casey's a high-skilled guy that they lose off the lineup. When Necas is doing stuff like he was doing tonight, there's a lot of skill there, buddy.
Yeah.
Like you could just get his stick on the pass.
He's a lot of fun, man. He's a lot of fun.
He is. He's a good time to watch. The Avs are a lot of fun right now. 6-0. We'll see if they can continue the streak tomorrow against Minnesota. We'll be doing the same thing. Pre-game, watch-along, post-game. E will be back on for those. We appreciate y'all. We're out of here for tonight, though. This has been the DNVR Avalanche post-game show presented by Bet365. Go buy the new Mac shirt.
We all silly like the mayor.